We are back. Welcome back to the King's Report this morning, Tuesday, August 22nd, 2017, broadcasting live from the Cheonilgung Palace. To all the kings and queens of the Kingdom of God, I'm your host, Hyungju Sean Moon, second king of Cheonilgung. And here we're joined by Tom Ryan, who is Executive Director of Vet Stock for Pike and Monroe counties. Tom Ryan is a retired Army veteran receiving a Purple Heart and a Bronze Star for his duty in Vietnam. Thank you for your service, Tom. He is a supervisor and chairman for Delaware Township in Pike County, PA. Tom is the vice chair of the American Legion Post 139 and executive director of VetStock for Pike and Monroe counties. VetStock's mission is in raising money for service organizations and concentrates on homes for our vets. HFOT. Tom also rides with the Combat Veterans Motorcycle Association, baby, which is over 15,000 strong across the United States of America. We are so honored and blessed to have a patriot and hero, Tom Ryan, here in person with us today. And Tom, we were talking during the break about why it's so important that the citizens are armed, and we are the last defense for freedom and liberty, against tyrants, against totalitarians, against authoritarians, against commies, against socialists, against anybody who wants to take over centralized power. We talked about Switzerland army system. We talked about in Korea, we were trying to work with the Korean military and the Defense Department to move the military towards the Swiss model, South Korea. That's South Korea, that is. To get them, the Korean men who go to military service, when they come back, bring the guns back, get them closer to the civilians. Then the civilians can learn gun safety, and why, to use firearms. And also it prepares them just in case North Korea tries to do something crazy or China tries to do something nuts. The citizens are armed. Give me your take about why the right to bear arms is such a critical element to freedom and liberty. Go ahead, Tom.
Let me just make a correction too. I'm not a supervisor any longer.
Okay, there you go. You're free from that
I'm
duty.
a free man. I'm fully retired now, that's for sure. So an armed citizenry is key. It's a key element, I think, anyway, to the freedom of the country.
Yes.
We have the largest standing army in the world that are armed here in this country, and that's because of the Second Amendment. Military. We have the largest trained military standing army, even though you're not in the ranks of the armed forces. You still have that training, and you're still able to understand how to use a firearm or how just where your position is. What is it that you're trying to do? That's primarily maintain a government that we have. We might disagree with the people that are in the government, but the Constitution stands. We don't take an oath to protect the people in Congress. We take an oath to defend the Constitution. So it doesn't matter who's in the House of Representatives or the Senate. It doesn't matter. It's just our oath is to defend the Constitution. And recently we've gotten very close to just abandoning the Constitution and doing something else.
Now, as a vet and somebody who risked your life on the front line, you did it. You did it. You didn't just talk about it. You did it in the jungles of Vietnam. You put your life on the line. You got people trying to blow up historical monuments. Now, yesterday, police detained an individual, Caucasian young man from suburbia, who has been brainwashed by Marxist ideology and leftist Antifa, trying to blow up statues in Houston. And you also have Christopher Columbus statues that are being torn down. This is in Baltimore, the Baltimore Sun reporting about that. Thomas Jefferson, Vice magazine, Vice documentary films, tweeting out, we should blow up Mount Rushmore. You have celebrities like Kathy Griffin holding up decapitated heads of President Trump. You have the media saying, kill Trump supporters, kill Trump supporters. You have the FBI former deputy director, Mudd, that comes on CNN and says this government is going to kill Trump. How do they get away with speaking like this? Literally like terrorists. They're speaking like ISIS.
I agree.
How do they get away with speaking like ISIS, protecting radical Islam, trying to bring 600,000 more radicalized Muslim Islamicists from war-torn countries. How do they get away with this? Isn't it a crime to say kill the president?
Apparently not any longer. You have to be on the left, and you can say whatever you want. You know? If we were on the right, they would be in jail right now. You know, and that's the way it would work. I don't. I just don't see it. And the blowing up of monuments, or even a removal of any monument, is that what that? I think that is that, you know, when I was a kid, which was a couple of years ago, you're taught. Your parents teach you the respect of the history of this country. We stopped teaching the history of country. We started teaching current affairs and, you know, what's happening today. So if you asked a young, you know, one of these talk
Millennials.
shows. Yeah, a millennial. One of these talk shows, if you said to him, what did Thomas Jefferson do? What exactly did he do? They wouldn't know. They just know he's a statue that represents.
They say he's a racist and he's a white supremacist, he's a homophobe.
Yeah. In the
He's an
meantime,
Islamophobe.
if I'm correct, he never owned a slave. But when do we pass?
Crazy.
At what point in our history, and we're well over, 100 years that the Civil War took place. What point in our history do we move past all of that and say that's our history and this is now, and that's all part of history, every little bit of it.
Well, the left has taken over everything. They've taken over education, culture, arts, Hollywood, and they brainwash these children. Literally, they think Thomas Jefferson and George Washington is Satan on earth.
Yeah, I agree.
They think that under Hillary Clinton in the State Department, under Obama, they had a memo that said the founding fathers are domestic terrorists.
Well, anyone who belongs to the NRA is a domestic terrorist, according to them. Doesn't matter. You're an NRA member, you're a domestic terrorist.
We're all domestic terrorists.
Yeah, so I wear that one with pride.
I mean, but this is the. Meanwhile, they're the ones trying to censor people. Meanwhile, they're the ones who are trying to ban Milo Yiannopoulos, a gay man. I mean, this is an openly gay conservative.
Yeah.
And they're trying to ban. They're the ones that say, "Oh, we're the protectors of homosexuals," and they're the ones that are banning Milo Yiannopoulos in Berkeley. They're the ones that are letting the city burn down. They're the ones who are forcing the Charlottesville, protest to move right into Antifa and start a physical riot. They're the one. All this craziness is coming out about that. By the way,
Yeah.
all these feds are all around. These people that CNN, I showed the video yesterday. The CNN people like Brennan, that was right there. They were saying, I was an accidental witness, and I've got film of it right here. This guy happens to be working for the State Department under Hillary Clinton, and then this guy is also the chief of staff of a Democratic candidate there in Virginia.
Yeah.
He just happens to be there. And then another guy, Kessler, Jason Kessler, who was the quote organizer of Unite the Right, happens to be an Obama and Hillary supporter in 2016, writing on his Twitter feed, they just smashed Trump. They just destroyed him in the argumentation. Obama and Hillary, yay, all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
He happens to be a total leftist, and all of a sudden, he's some Nazi.
That whole thing.
Oh my goodness, give me a break.
It's very sad that young woman, poor innocent bystander, gets killed.
It's crazy.
It's like the right caused it, but I don't see it that way. I see it.
Well, they're saying that's the right. They're trying to lump all these people. Okay, there was a few, supremacists there, but then you had this whole scenario where the police were pushing them into Antifa. They were literally pushing. There's now video out. Walls of policemen pushing these people down the stairs because they know Antifa's waiting there like hungry lions, ready to beat them up, pepper spray in the face. They come in with 2x4s and helmets to these rallies, dressed in ninja outfits. These kids are crazy.
Yeah.
And they come in there, and then there's pushing these people down who actually petitioned, and they worked with the cops for 2 months getting a protest. Look, we don't have to agree with what they say, but people have a freedom of speech. They have a right to say what they're going to say.
Yeah.
They weren't doing a violent protest.
It doesn't matter. You're protected under free speech. Constitution says it. It's not something that is. You have to ask permission because your permit isn't issued to hold the rally. Your permit is issued to use the street or wherever it is.
Right.
So the rally is not the part of the permit. The street, where you're going to locate, is the permit process. So the people are not, their rights aren't infringed. They're allowed to do it. Anyone can do it. And for that matter, depending on where you are, and I don't think it does, is you gather up. Anytime we go to a parade, it's a gathering. It's a gathering of Americans or patriots, anyone really that wants to march in a Veterans Day parade or any other parade.
I mean, look what they did to the Bundys. Remember the Bundys, that whole scandal out there?
Oh, yeah.
Where they were trying to confiscate his land through the BLM and the Bureau of Land Management
Yeah.
out there. They're just total thugs out there, okay? Militarized thugs trying to steal private property that was in the family for literally 200 years.
Yeah.
Okay, they've been harvesting, they've been farming out there, they've been raising cattle out there, and they're literally just like poor Mormon farmers.
Yeah.
Okay, and they're going after these guys, literally bringing militarized, weapons, huge cars, to quote take them out because they're domestic terrorists. And then they designate free speech zones. Did you see this? They have little orange fences where
That's
you
a
can
free
go in.
speech
You can have
zone.
your First Amendment space in there.
Yeah.
This is the level of control that we've become.
Yeah, and it's a lot. The left would like more of it. You look at it, and they want to control everything that you do, every move you make, and I didn't think I'd live to the day to see this.
I tell you what, when Jesus Christ came and he said in Matthew 6:33, "Seek ye first the kingdom and his righteousness." Christ preached the gospel of the kingdom. Wherever he went and preached the gospel of the kingdom, and he identifies the gospel as the kingdom gospel. Whenever he preached about the kingdom of God, that pissed off the establishment. It just made them so angry. They made him so angry, so angry, so angry. Whether it was the hegemony of Pontius Pilate, or whether it was, Herod, or whether it was the Roman emperor. They were so angry that these Christians believed in a different kingdom. They didn't bow down to the rulers of the day. They believed that they had a direct relationship with the King of Kings and that they were co-heirs with him in his kingdom and his righteousness. And that is scary. That's scary to an establishment. That's scary to some central planners that are trying to organize and control everything from a centralized body.
But what is their goal?
What is their goal?
Their goal is to centralize power under them.
There it is right there.
And basically that's when you really take a deep look. And it doesn't have to be that deep because they've become so pronounced lately, is that you just have to look at the surface of it and you say, what do they want? If you give them the benefit of the doubt, I'm talking about the left. You give them the benefit of the doubt and say, okay, you have what do you want? And basically it's power, which they're not entitled to.
Ooh, there you go.
It's power.
It's archangelism.
It doesn't matter who it is, where it is, how it is. They want the power to control your thought process, what you say, what you do. So, and that's what it is. And I look at it, you look at it.
And Christians are bad. Christians are bad.
I don't even think it's just Christians with some of them.
I showed the
It's
video.
anyone.
I showed the video this morning. The U.S. military, and David Wood broke it down. The U.S. military, from the Department of State, okay, has a memorandum where when you touch the Quran, you're supposed to call the Holy Quran, okay?
Mm-hmm.
You're supposed to wear white gloves. You're supposed to do, McMaster, there's an article on Breitbart this morning. We covered it this morning. McMaster supported a memo and a process where the military has to do a kissing ceremony of the Quran when they feel that they've defaced or they've insulted the Muslim populations. They do a ceremony with white gloves. They handle the book with their right hand, and they have to kiss it in apology to the Muslim population that's there. Meanwhile, and David Wood's video showed it. We showed it right today. Meanwhile, they burned over 200 Bibles that were sent to Afghanistan because they said that it was going to start a civil war or whatever. But it's okay to burn Bibles, but you have to treat the Quran with white gloves. And remember, this is a book and a prophet that married a 6-year-old girl and was having sex with her at 9 years old, which is the reason why this child marriage is legal. This is the same prophet that had sex slaves, allowed his conquerors to conquer nations and take women as sex slaves on top of the 4 wives that you were allowed. And this is a complete, that allows for also female genital mutilation, FMB, total different civilization. And we've been brainwashed, indoctrinated from preschool to be told all religions are the same. All of us are the same. Christianity is bad, but Christianity is the same as Islam, so don't discriminate. Don't be a Islamophobe. But when you look into it, it's a radically different culture. It has a political system, Sharia law,
Yeah.
which has taxes, which has political offices, which has a centralized caliphate. And it's radically different than any Western democratic constitution. But yet we should just let them pour in because we're bad, because we're Christian.
We need a correction.
Just let them pour in and punish us.
Someone on the left decided we need a correction.
And we have to be grateful
Yeah, no.
for being raped and pillaged and plundered. This is the state of affairs we live in today. My goodness, folks, let's take a short break. We'll be right back after the short break. Stay with us. Oh my goodness, this gives me a headache every day.
Car Arms, Magnum Research, and Auto Ordnance. The Car Firearms Group. With a diverse product line that blends American craftsmanship with cutting-edge technology. It's no secret why gun enthusiasts choose Car Firearms Group. From the Desert Eagle and Baby Desert Eagle made famous by Hollywood. The history of the 1911 and the Tommy gun. To the best in compact concealed carry. Car Firearms Group is not only the first name in personal defense, it's a name that has earned the respect of gun enthusiasts around the world. Concealment, innovative technology, value, accuracy, and history. Car Firearms Group. Made in the USA. Visit car.com today.
And we are back. Welcome back to the King's Report this morning here with Patriot Tom Ryan. And we are breaking down why Trump is so angering to the establishment. Why does everybody hate him? Why do leftist lunatics, obviously we know why they hate him. And of course the Rhino Republicans, they all hate him too. All the establishment hate him. Why do they all hate him? You can know a man by his enemies, an old saying says. Why is it that all the global elite are against Trump? You have the climate change people that hate Trump. You have all the greenies that hate Trump. You have all celebrity cult that hates Trump. You have all of Silicon Valley that hates Trump. You have all the monopolies and Federal Reserve and the international bankers in the Bilderberg Group that hates Trump. You have the EU and Merkel that hates Trump. You have all the communist nations that hate Trump. You have everybody is against him. All the super elites which all want communism worldwide, world government worldwide. The Council on Foreign Relations stated goal under David Rockefeller saying that they want to diminish American sovereignty and bring us under world governance. I mean, this is crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy. You have the deep state that hates him. You have all the Obama holdovers on the CIA that hate him. You have us running the poppy fields in Afghanistan, trying to get us in more wars. We are in a total, unbelievable scenario. And you can know a man by his enemies. Look at all Trump's enemies. Look at all the people that hate him. They hate you They hate your family. They hate Christians. They hate Christianity. You can't even say Jesus Christ. That's blasphemous. But at the same time, you have to handle the Quran with white gloves, and you have to hold up a pedophile as a prophet. This is ridiculous. This is the society that they are constructing around. And of course, this is the society which we know is political Satanism. They're trying to put transgender bathrooms into elementary schools. They're trying to use the UN Health Sciences education system teaching 5-year-old children to masturbate in public schools. What insanity! They got CPS. Lou Kazakov here, we're talking about CPS and custody for kids. Kidnapping children from their parents. Getting paid $4,000 to $6,000 bonuses once they fulfill their quota. This is an outrage, a complete outrage. And everybody in that establishment who is doing those things, who is lawless and breaking the law and above the law, hates Donald J. Trump. They call him a Nazi. They call him a fascist. They call him a white supremacist. When he employs thousands of blacks and Asians and Hispanics. When he had a poor African American woman who was homeless, he let her live in Trump Tower and brought her flowers every week. But no, the mainstream media doesn't want to cover that. Doesn't want to cover how Trump is trying to help the black community. Doesn't want to tell you how Trump is, of course, boosting the economy, trying to get back over 1 million jobs in the next 5 years. No, none of that has to be mentioned. We just have to mention that Antifa are the heroes, and they're fighting against Trump, the Nazi Hitler. Tom, help me calm down a little bit here. Help me calm down.
You look at it, it's...
Oh, my God.
You hit it on the head. Show me your friends and I'll show you who you are. Oh, and basically, I consider myself one of Trump's friends, so you look at it that way and you say, look, show me your friends and I'll show you who you are. He represents, the reason they do hate him is, and I sometimes I can't figure it out because they say, they're for especially the rhinos, and we have a lot of them now.
Look at McCain, he stopped Obamacare repeal.
I am so disappointed in him.
He had the vote. He had it.
Funny.
We had it.
But he voted before. He voted for it. Prior to that, he voted for repeal. But when the test came down, he was like a little child stomping his feet. That's all that was about. He was a little child stomping his feet like a 4-year-old, saying, "I want my way." And you know what? He had the power to get it. It's like like a 4-year-old who makes enough noise and wants cereal, he's going to get it. That's what he did. He's like a 4-year-old, and you should treat him that way. There are guys and there are people, women and men in that Congress and that represent the population of their districts that need to go home and stay there.
Amen.
Maxine Waters is one of them. She should go home. Pelosi is one. She should go home. Stay there. Go enjoy the rest of your life, but don't hold me hostage. And that's basically what they're doing. They're holding the economy hostage. They're holding every person in this country hostage because they do not want to shed their power. And that's what it's about. It's nothing more than power and control. That's all the whole thing is about. The more power, the more control. They'll let the population in from all these different areas that are coming here illegally, give them some type of citizenship and let them vote. How do you think they're going to vote? I know how they're going to vote. So you look at it that way.
Let them cut the line.
Yeah, I mean, cut the line. That's exactly right. That's what they're going to do.
Cut the line, then vote Democrat.
And vote. I don't care if they stood on the Daffy Duck Party. They would vote for them because that's the only name they've seen. I've seen Pelosi. Oh, you know what? She's the Donald Duck Party. I'll vote for her. It's the only name they know. They don't know any conservative names. It doesn't work that way.
This is the insanity of the world we are living in. We have porous borders. People are pouring in. Everybody knows it. I mean, you have Veritas Project and James O'Keefe going down there dressed up as Osama bin Laden, crossing the border from Mexico, Texas 3-4 times, did it and captured on film, blew that up. Sheriff Joe Arpaio is the only one who said, hey, President Trump is right. The border is porous. We got MS-13, some of the most brutal gangs that are pouring in. They're now in Long Island. They're now all over the country. They're now, they decapitate people, hang them upside down, and let them the blood drain out, and just terrorize Hispanic communities, by the way.
Yes.
They terrorize Hispanic communities. It's the Hispanic communities doesn't want these illegal immigrants coming in. They don't want them coming in because they want to get along, trying to work and feed their families. Meanwhile, they get MS-13 coming in, pouring over the border, letting them free reign by Obama to terrorize them, keep them on their plantations so they can never leave the welfare system. They can never leave the Democratic plantation. They can never find out that the Ku Klux Klan was run by the Democrats. The Ku Klux Klan was against the abolition of slavery. The Democratic Party was against the abolition of slavery. It was a Republican Party that was trying to arm the black communities with the NRA, with guns to protect themselves against the Ku Klux Klan, which was run by the Democratic Party, and had the Grand Dragons in the 80s and 90s were CIA operatives. This is ridiculous, ridiculous mainstream news. This is how upsetting it is. It's mainstream news. And people are so brain dead and indoctrinated and brainwashed and in a daze of social media and video games that they don't know what planet they're living on. These young kids don't know what planet they're living on. They think they're fighting Klingons or something.
There was a cutoff somewhere. I don't know exactly where it was that went from. When we grew up, or I grew up, it was a family unit. It was always a family unit. I remember going to church as a kid. I was 9 years old. I was 8 years old, go with my father to church. And we had a fairly large congregation where I went to school. It was in Queens. And the church was full. They were standing room only. And then you would see the cops come in. They were given time off to come in and go to mass. They direct traffic. You never see that now. And I don't know where that cutoff took place. Where did we lose that connection with God and country? I don't know. But it's in trouble. I know that.
That's such an important point because the Bible says very clearly, we fight not against flesh and blood, but against principalities and powers.
Yeah.
And rulers of the wickedness of this world and spiritual wickedness in high places. And look, there is spiritual power. There is a spiritual demonic force that is behind these people. These people are not just people that are just insane, mentally ill. Of course, they are mentally ill and they're being indoctrinated. But there's a spirit behind them. It's the spirit of Satan. The spirit of Satan is behind
something is driving it. And
you're a godly man.
A what?
You're a godly man. Satan is real. He is the father of all lies. He tries to attack.
He's absolutely part of the fabric of this country, and he's the fabric of the world. I mean, this is if you think of it, you really think deep about it. It could be the classic, the right of people to. It's the fight against Satanism. I call it Satanism, but it's the fight against evil because it's evil.
Yes.
It's not just Satan. Some of the things that go on are purely evil. These killing cops. I mean, for no reason. And they're not talking about it. They target 6 police officers in Dallas. And it's sad because we're working with a new group with our veterans group. It's called Folds of Honor Foundation. And what the Folds of Honor does is they provide scholarship funding to the families of soldiers killed in action. So you get to meet these families. Now, it was interesting. We had our event this weekend, and one of the women who lost a husband in Iraq, she drove up all the way from Monroe County, way deep in Monroe County, drove up. She found out we were having an event. Her son got the scholarship last year, and she drove up to see us and say thank you personally. But to what cost is that guy's life? It served no purpose. That man and many others, including the Vietnam War guys, since Vietnam, have served no purpose than the purpose of the powers to be. Send them to war, let them fight, let them die. But you know what? We stick our nose where it doesn't belong. It's classic. That's a classic example. I think the only thing I disagree with now is Trump needs to get the heck out of Afghanistan. We need to get our guys home.
Amen. He said that. He said in 2013, 14. Yeah. You're saying get them back home.
We need to be home. You know what? Enough dying, enough killing, enough. You know,
But you know the big poppy seeds there. 93% of the heroin trade.
You know, and
It's
the
right there.
establishment won the argument.
They want the $800 billion.
They won the argument. You know, we just need to come home. I mean, I'm not normally an isolationist, but at this point in time, we need to regroup. We need to take our guys home and let the world run on its own. We don't need them. You know, in my view, anyway. I'm
Well,
sure,
America's
you know.
right before a huge, even Ron Paul saying, huge crash, the biggest
Yeah.
economic crash
Yeah.
that we've seen in our lifetime.
How far can they go?
It's coming.
The stock market is at record highs every day, and nothing seems to affect it at this point. No matter what he does, or no matter what the government does, or whatever happens, nothing seems to affect it, which tells me that the people that are at the top levels of that are just funding that and funding it and funding it, and someday it's going to blow.
There's a
And when
bubble.
when it does,
Oh, yeah.
it's going to be it's going to be worse than the Depression, I think.
It's going. Oh, that's it. All the top analysts: Peter Schiff, Harry Dent, Ron Paul.
Yeah.
You know, Jim Rogers from from the top Wall Street banker.
Yeah.
Saying the crash is coming. It's going to worse than 1920
Yeah,
because
I
it's going to be
agree.
worldwide
Yeah, yeah.
I mean-
we have a false economy throughout. You here and elsewhere.
in the world.
Yeah,
My
our trade
goodness.
deficits with China alone. Trade
Massive,
deficits, yeah,
massive.
And you know what? I don't understand. What I don't understand, and I guess I'm just a street kind of guy, is you get on the phone, and maybe it's naivety. You call Putin and say, hey, listen, we gotta figure this out. I'm coming and see you. Can I come have coffee with
yeah,
you?
exactly.
Why do I need all of this protocol and all these other
Exactly.
things? Let's talk man to man. What do you want? What are we going to do?
Let's get it
How
done.
do we? Because we're protecting our populations. Putin as well as us, or North Korea as well as us. They want. Well, I don't know about North Korea, but Russia and people like that. They want to protect their people.
Russia has 70 years of communism. They don't want it anymore.
Yeah.
They want free markets.
They want it.
They don't want the homosexual agenda in there. They don't want communism.
No.
They're now the 13th biggest economy, but that's, they're still lagging way behind.
Yeah.
And Putin just wants to get along and try to get out the World Bank currency. He wants to be able to try to boost up the ruble.
Yeah.
He doesn't want World War
Yeah.
III.
Yeah. No.
Like these crazies want World War III.
No.
He doesn't want to blow up the world.
And what's interesting is you can pick out the trouble. Iran. Iran's a problem.
That's a problem.
Iran is an issue. It's very much like the mouse that roared. It's so much like that, the mouse that roared. And how far can they push us? Where are we going to go with this? And in the meantime, countries like Iran rely on Russia or China, and that's kind of where it is. Iran, I think, is lined with China.
And just last week, they were sending naval ships out to the Atlantic Ocean. They said they're going to send it to the U.S. coast.
Yeah, come on. Let
These
'em on.
people
Let
are
'em come.
crazy.
Let them come because we're shooting back now.
Well, the beginning of the
That's
order.
the best part about it is, they're not throwing water balloons at them anymore in the Gulf.
Talk about
They're
protecting
shooting
Iran.
at them.
What about Obama delivering billions of dollars of cash
That's
to them?
crazy. That is nuts.
Paying them to develop their nuclear program.
Yeah, and they're not giving it up.
And what about Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton in 1997 giving the North Koreans nuclear technology?
Yeah.
In 1997, that's
That
mainstream news.
Main Street media is not
Mainstream
reporting
news.
that. They're not
Nobody
reporting
talks about that.
Yeah, I know.
The Clintons weaponized the
Yeah.
North Koreans,
Yeah.
and now we got this issue, and they say it's Trump's fault. It's all Trump's fault. It's the Russians. He
Yeah.
colluded with Russia. Yes, Burger King went out of business in this city, so it's the Russians. The Russians did it.
Yeah.
The Russians did it. Yes, somebody had that car accident. Well, you know who it was? It was Vladimir Putin
Yeah.
who organized that attack.
Yeah, Russia. It's
Give me a
easy.
break.
It's easy. It's a short name. A lot of people can remember it. Russia. So it's the Russians. They did it.
Oh my goodness.
And even with the appointment of the special counsel, you find that normally to appoint the special counsel has to be a violation of the law. When Nixon, they knew Watergate, it was a violation of the law. Let's investigate the Watergate issue.
Oh, my
and take it
goodness.
from there. So Ken Starr comes to be.
What Nixon did was a joke compared to what Hillary
Oh.
Rodham Clinton did. 36,000 federal laws broken, 36,000 emails
Yeah.
leaked.
She blatantly lied, and you know what? The frustrating part for I think the normal everyday American is if I did it, I'd be in trouble
We dodged a bullet on that one with Hillary Clinton.
Well, you know what? She's not going away.
Oh my goodness, it's
You
true.
know, so I don't
very,
know.
Very
You
true.
know, she's not going away, and you know, they've got. They have the Clintons are a classic example of people who want to rule. They don't want to
Rule
govern.
and reign.
They don't want to govern. They want to rule. That creates a very, very big difference in them.
And they were involved in satanic circles doing spirit cooking. That's in the WikiLeaks with Marino Abramovich.
Yeah.
Nasty, disgusting, spiritual rituals. Literally Satanism.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a woman who carved a pentagram on her stomach as a work of quote work of art.
Yeah.
These are the people they're hanging out with. These are the people. John Podesta and Hillary. That's in the WikiLeaks.
Yeah.
Folks, we'll be right back after this short break with more with Patriot Tom Ryan. Stay with us.
Car Arms, Magnum Research, and Auto Ordnance. The Car Firearms Group. With a diverse product line that blends American craftsmanship with cutting-edge technology. It's no secret why gun enthusiasts choose Car Firearms Group. From the Desert Eagle and Baby Desert Eagle made famous by Hollywood. The history of the 1911 and the Tommy gun. To the best in compact concealed carry. Car Firearms Group is not only the first name in personal defense, it's a name that has earned the respect of gun enthusiasts around the world. Concealment, innovative technology, value, accuracy, and history. Car Firearms Group. Made in the USA. Visit car.com today.
And we are back. Welcome back to the King's Report this morning, Tuesday, August 22nd, 2017, broadcasting to all the kings and queens of the kingdom of God. Now we're here with Tom Ryan, Patriot Tom Ryan, who runs the Vetstock organization here, executive director for Pike and Monroe counties of Vetstock. Now, Vetstock's mission is in raising money for service organizations and concentrates on homes for our vets. Veterans are the ones who put their necks on the line. They stand in front of all the bullets, so all these, even the liberal lunatics can believe what they want. Tom also rides with Combat Veterans Motorcycle Association, which is over 15,000 strong over the USA. Tom, tell us about your organizations, how everybody can support them, what can we do to help President Trump? What can we do to take America back?
Vetstock is not for profit, so it's apolitical. We have now. I put on another hat, and I do it quite often. My political views versus my work with Vetstock. Vetstock is a 501c3 that we raise money. We have all volunteer organization, all volunteers. No one gets paid.
Wow.
The only monies that we outlay are for insurance purposes and things like that, or general. And we take that funding, and some of it has gone to homes for our troops, building homes for soldiers that have been amputees. So we've contributed to building 2 of them. One of them right here in Hawley, young man was blown up in an IED in Afghanistan, and he lost his legs, but he also has a traumatic brain injury. He's in very, very bad shape, but he was in a nursing home in the Bronx for 11 years. When we found out about it, we said, you know what, it's time for you to come home. So we worked hard with Homes for Our Troops, and they built a new house up in Hawley with 47 different enhancements for him. Like, he cannot get out of bed, so he needs a lift. He needs full-time care.
Wow.
But there's no reason he should have languished in a nursing home for 11 years. Yeah. This is a hero. But now we've moved some of our focus to another group called Folds of Honor. And Folds, what they do is they provide funding to children or families of soldiers killed in action. So that really tears at the emotional strings, because like this year, last year we had 6 local, 5 of them killed in the same Humvee.
Wow.
And imagine that tragedy. All those families know each other. They're all from the same armory. That is a massive. That tragedy is just. I can't comprehend how all of that took place with them. So and then another gentleman 3 days later was killed. So last year we totaled, between us and Woodlock Springs, who we partner with, we donated $30,000 to that foundation.
Wow. God bless you, man.
The foundation now, the United States Golf Association, matches that with, for every $5,000 that we donate, the USGA donates approximately another $20,000.
Wow.
So your $5,000 contribution becomes $25,000. So my slogan now, I've changed it. I come up with these little slogans, but it's like, we can make a difference, and we can show the difference. We can show you the film. I met a woman this weekend. We had Vetstock Weekend, who literally drove her car up. She heard we were having a Vetstock Weekend, and she drove her car an hour and a half just to come and say thank you, because her son was a recipient of one of those scholarships. We get to meet some of the families, but this was real unique, a very emotional experience for all of us, because we had a lot of the combat vets were on hand because we had a motorcycle run, and you could see in their faces what they were thinking about how this woman came and what's going on around us. So Vetstock is we that's how we raise money. We have our website is vetstockamerica.com. There's a donation button on there. You can go in and donate to us. Plus we have a number of events. This weekend we're at the Malibu Dude Ranch Rodeo every Saturday. So we're there this Saturday, and then our final weekend is Labor Day weekend. We'll be there in full force. But the people are so generous. I mean, the people in Pike, we just expanded into Wayne. We just spent 8 days up at the Wayne County Fair. And people in general are just so generous. I mean, here where we are, we happen to be very, very fortunate that we live in counties, and we're surrounded by counties that the real America is. I call it real America. There's some isolated spots that have some issues, but the overall piece of it is, a lot of us use the phrase, America starts west of the Delaware River. Because everything kicks in. You're bordered by 2 states here that really don't like you around.
Communist states.
You got New York surrounded. Basically.
Oh, man.
When you can't exercise your God, basically, the Constitution is almost a document that was with some divine intervention.
Absolutely.
It lasts. Nothing lasts the length of this Constitution, and as many times as they've tried to adjust it, it still corrects itself. So you look at it now, and the people in this country did the correction. We elected Trump. That was the correction. And what stays out of mainstream media is what he's done.
Now, as a veteran, how has Donald Trump, because President Trump has talked about reestablishing the prestige of the VA, and how we care for our veterans.
I'll tell you from personal experience, the change almost from the day he got elected was incredible.
Bam! Right there, bam! You heard it straight, folks. Right there, right there.
I am sure there are some isolated places that veterans don't get the care that they earned or deserve. I'm sure there's places like that. But the fact of the matter is now whoever's in charge of that has the authority to deal with that where they didn't before. It's a big, big bureaucracy. But now the level of care has changed. I got good care. I'll never say anything about the care I get. I go to Wilkes-Barre. I got great care up there. But the difference is I had to go for some dermatology, and I had been refused Veterans Choice. That choice program that they all touted, they put out. Oh, you can go out anywhere you want. We already have it. Forget it. What they interpreted the rule of law that said any building that had VA, Veterans Administration, on it, if you live within 12 miles of that, you're not eligible. Well, my records are in Pennsylvania. All of my records are in the VA. That's a classic example of mini powers. Every state runs their own VA administration. So I cannot go. If I left here today and drove across the bridge and went to that clinic, right across the bridge, the Port Jervis Clinic, I could not get care. I have to register in the New York system. It's crazy. Why can't I just go there? I cannot go. I give blood. Every 6 months or so they take blood. I'm 8 miles from Port Jervis Clinic. I'm 72 miles from Wilkes-Barre. I have to go to
You
Wilkes-Barre.
gotta go all the way out there.
Yeah, and they pay me. They pay me instead of saying, "Go here, get your blood drawn." No, I got to go. So they pay me mileage to go. But the system in general, the VA system has improved greatly.
Well, they used to have the death panels under Obama.
Oh yeah.
Literally, you had VA vets that were waiting for surgery, waiting for reconstructive brain surgery. They just let them go.
Well, we always use the classic. The VA's overwhelmed, I think, with patients. And in my day, when I fought in Vietnam, if you took a major shrapnel or shot to your thigh, where your artery is, you're going to die. That was a given. You're going to die. There's a good chance. You had an 85% chance of not living through that kind of a wound. Today, you have a 100% chance of survival. So they're coming back. We have young men coming back with no legs, no arms, no legs or no arms together. So basically their core body, but they just went through such a traumatic experience, but they survived. And the VA is obligated to take care of them.
What if we allowed the private insurance companies to have all these packages, different packages, where they would compete for veterans business and veteran support, and or taking from their profits, just like in the past, before the federalized insurance policies.
Yeah.
They used to have doctors would give free care to those who fought for the country.
Yeah, I see. That's where I disagree somewhat. I do not want the private sector involved in my healthcare because the private sector is involved in profit. And I don't begrudge them for that, but that's what they're going to be driven by. They're going to be driven by creating profits. If that means you're going to a doctor more, you're going, I kind of like this centralized healthcare system so far, but I also like the idea to have a choice to go outside the system to my choice of physician, and the VA will pay for it. That's their issue, not mine. And
Now, in terms of the vets,
Yeah.
when you meet the vets on the ground, how would you say their morale is about President Trump?
well, right now it's
Do
great.
they feel
Yeah,
the-
it's good. Everybody is up. Everybody, we all feel for the men that are serving, but we feel like that we have someone who's speaking for us. Well, we've been abandoned for 8
Yes.
years, and longer. I'm not, this crosses party lines, to be honest with you.
That's right. 60,000 Democrats switched.
Yeah. So you look at it, and you have the veteran population should be out of the equation, and they should be treated with the respect that they earned or deserve.
Yes.
But for this long period of time, it didn't happen. But now, Trump is. A lot of people disagree with him. A lot of people don't agree with him. A lot of people don't like him. But as far as morale within the system, within us, I think is very good. I think he still controls a lot of support because he wants us to get health care. He wants us to be treated the way we should be treated, in our view, anyway. I had a guy tell me one day, I got into a big discussion with him, and he said, well, what's the big deal? He says, I got shot at. That was his words to me. I got shot at. I said, well, I got shot. That was my answer to him. So what are we going to one-upsman here? I got shot at. I got shot, So it's kind of funny, but people don't realize what you face. You look at the guys in World War II, Korea, and those kinds of guys. You don't understand. A lot of you don't understand what it's like to take a bullet. I probably ask anybody in this room or anywhere outside the American Legion and say, what do you think it's like to take a bullet? How do you feel? Or take a piece of shrapnel, hot, burning, white hot piece of metal piercing your flesh, and it doesn't stop at a surface wound. It goes in, it breaks stuff, it shoots. So how do you feel about that? And I think Trump kind of gets all of that, and I don't think he's using an advisor to get it. I think he just gets it, I don't think he needs to go to McMaster or Mattis or any of those guys to understand it.
He's the blue-collar billionaire. He's the one who protects and stands up for the normal man.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I think so anyway. It's
But
my
look at these
opinion.
generals around him. McMaster, for example, that's now confirmed by Israeli intelligence. He's been caught emailing George Soros and giving him reports on a daily basis. He's worked for George Soros-funded activities, organizations, and George Soros, of course, is one of the greatest funders of the most radical left.
Mm-hmm.
He funds Antifa. He funds MoveOn.org. He funds Black Lives Matter, BLM. He funds Linda Sarsour and her radical Islam Sharia law touting feminist movement. This is the guy who's funding that kind of civil war in America. And he's doubled his funding. And we have McMaster who is reporting to this guy directly. This is a problem in the White House.
Well, that's, again, I got to switch hats. I'm going to go to my political hat.
Your normal Tom Ryan hat.
Yeah, it's, Tom Ryan agrees with a lot of what you're saying. I don't. Listen, I rely on President Trump to represent me, which I think he's doing, and against all odds. It's him against all odds. That's where you.
His life is in danger.
Yeah, every day.
I mean, what's it? Pastor Brown, who's in the evangelical circuit praying for him, was told by a congressman that they're going to try to kill Trump in the next 2 months. And he talked about that in a sermon he gave in front of his church. And then the Secret Service visited him right away.
Yeah.
And then he was on Breitbart and InfoWars, and he was on all this alternative media telling people, hey, they told me they're going to try to kill him.
Yeah. Listen, I don't know, how all of that's going to work, but let's see, he's a tough guy.
That's going to start a
He's
civil
a tough
war.
guy. Trump's a tough guy. I wouldn't count him out.
I mean, if the deep state tries to kill a duly elected president, not only is it clear and present danger, they're going to get civil war.
Yeah.
They're going to get a big march from all the patriots of all race, creeds, colors, and everything descending on Washington.
I agree with that.
They're going to have a problem.
I agree. That's a long overdue, to be honest with you.
And guess what? The gun owners, all hunters, know how to skin a buck, and fillet a trout, and know how to shoot stuff.
Yeah.
This is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Folks, we need to be praying for our president. We need to be praying for sovereignty. We need to be praying for this country. We need to be praying for every other red-blooded human being that is trying to fight for sovereignty, try to throw off the shackles of the archangel and archangelism and political Satanism, try to be free and yearn to be one with their creator who gives us inalienable rights to stand for his sovereignty that he's given us as the inheritors of his kingdom, his children. God did not give it to the archangel, even though the archangel helped him create all of creation. He gave it to Adam and Eve, his children. It's the devil that flipped that around and took all the way the inheritance. It is the children of God that will inherit the earth, and the kingdoms of Satan will be vanquished. We thank you so much for joining us this day. We thank you for Patriot Tom Ryan. Please support him in every which way you can. Pray for him, his organization. Support them and the different work that they're doing, raising money for homes for vets. There's really no better work than you can do than helping these vets who stood for you on the battle line to protect all the things and blessings of God that we enjoy in these United States of America. Pray for our president. We need to be on our knees. We need to be repenting before God. We know we're not perfect, but we know God. We know moving in God's providence. We know God is leading us towards his eventual destination, which is the kingdom of heaven on earth. We're supposed to pray it every day, folks. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. We'll see you tomorrow, 5 a.m. sharp, with Tim Elder tomorrow leading on the King's Report. And we will see you on, with Vetstock at future events. Come out to the events and support your vets. Get your bikes out and support the Combat Veterans Motorcycle Association as well. Give them a honk when they're passing by. Support them. Just appreciate them. Go talk to them. Thank them for what they've done. It's simple. Sometimes it's just simple as that. Just saying thank you. Going up to somebody and saying thank you for your service. Sometimes that can save a life. Sometimes that can give them encouragement when everybody else is trying to attack them and the federal bureaucracies are trying to tell them that they're worthless and they're domestic terrorists. Sometimes it just takes a normal person who has the Spirit of God in them that says thank you, that can uplift their spirits for all that they've done for these states and, of course, for this world. Thank you so much for joining us once again. We'll see you tomorrow, 5 a.m. sharp. God bless, Godspeed, and may His kingdom come.